The ocean was quiet that night. Captain Sarah Holt sat inside the control room of the USS Barracuda, one of Earth's most advanced stealth submarines. The screens glowed blue in the dim light, showing sonar activity across the ocean floor. Crew was calm, but focused. They had been underwater for 7 days straight. No one knew what they were truly hunting, only that strange signals were being picked up all over the Pacific Ocean. And then, ships started disappearing. Research labs along the coasts went silent. Something was moving beneath the waves, something not human, Captain whispered. Her sonar officer, you need to see this. Sarah leaned in. On the screen, a new signal was rising from the deep trench. It wasn't a whale, it wasn't a sub. It was something massive, and it wasn't following any known pattern. It's coming straight toward us, the officer added, voice tense. Sarah didn't blink. Silent running. The lights dimmed even further. The crew fell silent. The sub became like a ghost in the dark sea. Outside, the alien machine passed by slowly. A huge shadow against the black waters. It had glowing blue eyes, long metallic limbs, and a body shaped like a squid, but it moved like no sea creature anyone had ever seen. It made no sound. Only pulses of energy hummed through the water. Sarah stared at it on the screen, her heart cold. It's not here by mistake, she said. It's searching for something. Suddenly, a message came through their hidden radio network. Emergency alert. Alien contact confirmed near Hawaii. Multiple deep-sea drones destroyed. Stay hidden. The world had been watching the skies for decades, expecting aliens to come in ships, fire from above, and destroy cities. No one expected them to come from beneath, silent, strategic, and deadly. A week earlier, a strange object had crashed into the Pacific. The Navy sent a team to recover it, but they never came back. Now, the ocean floor was crawling with things humans didn't understand. Sarah turned to her crew. This isn't an invasion from space. It's an invasion from the deep. And we're Earth's only eyes down here. The USS Barracuda moved slowly through the cold waters, avoiding detection. The alien machines used sonar waves, but they were different from human technology. They scanned not just movement, but heat, pressure, and even neural signals. That meant even thoughts could get you killed. Then came the first, real attack. It happened off the coast of Guam, a human submarine. The USS Seeker was following a strange energy trail when it was ambushed. No warnings, no time, just a blinding flash, and the entire sub went dark. Sarah's crew picked up the black box signals. They didn't stand a chance, the engineer whispered. Their systems just shut down. Now it was war, but not on land, not in the air. It was a cold, silent war fought in the deepest parts of Earth's oceans. And the humans were outnumbered. But Earth had one advantage: its submarines. Unlike alien ships, human submarines were built to survive pressure, hide in darkness, and attack with deadly accuracy. They didn't rely on flashy energy. They used silent torpedoes, stealth metal, and crews trained to survive in the worst conditions. And Sarah Holt was one of the best. She'd been in the Navy for 15 years, led missions in the Arctic, survived a reactor breach. Now she faced her biggest challenge, an enemy that didn't breathe air and didn't show mercy. Let's make them regret coming to our world, she said coldly. Her crew nodded. They weren't just soldiers, but they were Earth's last line of defense under the sea. The plan was simple: find the alien base, gather intel, and report back. But nothing went as planned. 2 days later, they followed a faint energy trail to a deep trench near the Philippines. The deeper they went, the stranger things got. Lights flickered, temperatures dropped unnaturally. And then, voices whispers through the radio in languages no one understood. Some thought it was interference. Others weren't so sure. Then, they saw it. A massive alien structure buried in the trench. Part machine, part living thing. Tentacles of metal stretched across the ocean floor, drilling into the rock, feeding on Earth's core energy. It was a base, A factory. A hive. Dozens of alien drones moved around it like worker ants. Some had long blades for arms. Others had strange eyes that scanned everything. But all of them had one purpose: prepare the oceans for invasion. Sarah knew what she had to do. She armed the torpedoes. We hit it hard, fast, then we run. But just before she gave the order, a loud sound echoed through the sub. A metal clang, like something hitting the hull. "Something's outside," whispered a crew member. Everyone froze. Then came another clang. The lights flickered. The cameras went static. And then, silence. Sarah reached for the periscope camera. It slowly turned. And there it was. One of the alien machines latched onto the sub like a parasite.
Ow.
Its claws scraped the hull. Its eyes stared straight into the lens. Glowing red dot. It knew they were here. "Brace for impact," Sarah shouted. The sub shook violently. Sparks flew. Pipes burst, but they fought back. Torpedoes launched. Depth charges fired. The alien machines screamed a horrible, echoing sound and exploded into dark oil and shattered metal. They survived. But now the whole hive knew where they were. "Time to disappear," Sarah ordered. Silent running. Again. The sub dove. Deeper into the trench, disappearing into blackness. They couldn't win this war today. But now they had seen the enemy. They had struck back. And they knew the truth. Earth's oceans were not safe. But neither were the aliens. Because humanity didn't give up. Especially not beneath the waves. The deep sea was darker than space. The USS Barracuda moved silently, far below the surface, where no light reached. Captain Sarah Holt stood in the command center, staring at the flickering radar screen. The alien hive they had discovered wasn't just a base, it was growing. "Status?" she asked quietly. "Minimal damage from the attack," said her engineer. "We lost one external camera, and pressure on hull section 3 is higher, but stable. No breaches." "Good. How far are we from the last known signal?" Sarah asked. Her sonar officer replied, "About 8 clicks northeast. But, Captain, there's something else." She walked over. On the screen was a strange pattern. 3 signals moving together, slow and wide. "Are those subs?" The officer shook his head. "No, ma'am, they're not ours. I think they're patrolling." Alien sentries, the aliens were learning. Weren't just attacking anymore. They were watching, guarding, adapting. And they were hunting Earth's submarines one by one. Sarah leaned on the console, thinking. The enemy was fast, and they were spreading. The deep trenches of Earth had become their hideouts. And they were starting to send machines closer to the coasts. If they reached shallow waters, D's, like Tokyo, Sydney, and Manila, would be in danger. They had to be stopped here. "Prepare the recon drone," Sarah ordered. "We need eyes closer to that hive." The team launched a small stealth drone from the submarine. It was shaped like a manta ray, smooth and quiet. It moved fast, through the water, and sent live images back to the sub. The footage was chilling. The alien hive was no longer just drilling. Now it was producing hundreds of drones, all shaped for different jobs, some for scanning, some for building, and others clearly designed for war. Massive mechanical squids swam through tunnels of metal. Their bodies pulsed with green energy then. They saw something new. A ship. A massive alien vessel was being built at the center of the hive. It looked like a spiked sea creature, sharp, armored and glowing. Its size was terrifying, 3 times larger than any human sub. "They're not just hiding," said Sarah. "They're building a fleet." A quiet alarm sounded. The drone had been spotted. "Cut the feed," Sarah ordered, but it was too late. The camera shook. A blur of metal and claws rushed the screen, and then it went black. "They'll trace the signal," sonar officer said. Sarah nodded. "They know we're watching." She didn't panic. Instead, she looked at the crew and gave them what they needed. Purpose. "We know their weak points. They don't expect humans to strike first. They think we're afraid. We're not." Crew began preparing for a strike. Their goal: damage the hive, destroy the half-built mothership, and retreat before the full force could respond. It would be a suicide mission unless everything went perfectly hours later. The USS Barracuda returned to the trench, this time ready to fight. They moved low. Under the thermal layers, using Earth's strange ocean currents to mask their signal. The alien patrols moved above them unaware. Sarah gave the order. Launch torpedoes. Aim for the central core. Target energy lines in the shipyard. The first wave of torpedoes raced through the water, silent, deadly. Boom, boom, boom. The explosions lit up the dark sea. Metal twisted. Energy burst in green and blue flashes. The half-built mothership cracked in half. Drones screamed mechanical and haunting. The alien hive reacted instantly. Hundreds of machines poured from the tunnels. Tentacled war drones, armed with energy claws and spikes, began searching the area. Evasive maneuvers, Sarah shouted. The Barracuda dove and twisted through the water. Depth charges fired from the rear. One alien drone exploded behind them, torn in half by the blast, but more kept coming. Suddenly, the sub jolted hard. "We've been hit," someone yelled. "Rear fins damaged." Losing control, the pilot shouted. The sub began spiraling. Alarms blared. Sarah grabbed the rail and yelled, "Drop decoys. Redirect power to front propulsion." The decoys launched, fooling to drones. They followed the fakes as the Barracuda steadied itself and shot forward, deeper into the trench to escape. But then something new appeared. A creature. It wasn't metal. It wasn't a drone. It looked alive. A massive sea monster with bioluminescent skin and alien armor fused to its back. Its eyes glowed purple. Its mouth opened wide, showing rows of strange, glowing teeth. "What is that thing?" The weapons officer gasped. "I think it's a hybrid," Sarah whispered.
What?
"Part alien machine, part deep-sea life form." The creature swam like lightning. It charged the sub. "Fire everything." Sarah screamed. Torpedoes launched. Lasers fired. The beast dodged, swam under them, then slammed the sub from below. The lights flickered. The hull groaned, but they were still alive. One torpedo struck the creature's side, howled in pain, and vanished into the dark. They didn't chase it. Sarah's mission wasn't to kill monsters. It was to warn Earth. "Get us out of this trench," she ordered. Hours later, the USS Barracuda surfaced near a hidden base on an island far from major cities. The crew was tired, but alive. Sarah walked into the command tent and showed the footage to the admiral. "What the hell is that?" he asked. "An alien ocean base," Sarah replied. "They're building weapons under our noses. You just hit them hard, but they're still down there. You need to act before they surface." The admiral nodded slowly. "You did good, Captain. But this changes everything." It did. Earth was now at war, but not in space, not in the skies, in the oceans, and humans were not alone in the fight. Other navies began reporting contact. Strange signals in the Atlantic, lost subs in the Indian Ocean, even under the ice in Antarctica. The aliens were everywhere. But now they knew one thing. Humanity fights back, even under pressure, even in silence, even from the deep, in their submarines. They weren't just machines. They were hunters. The sea was no longer quiet. Every ocean on Earth had become a battlefield. The alien invaders were spreading fast, hiding deep in trenches, drilling into the seafloor, and building strange hives. They were using Earth's own waters as a shield, and they were adapting faster than expected. But humans were adapting too. The USS Barracuda was still damaged. Undergoing repairs in a secret underwater dry dock, Captain Sarah Holt had given her full report, and now she was assigned to help lead something new, Operation Deep Strike. It wasn't just one submarine anymore. Now Earth's navies were joining forces. America, Russia, China, Britain, Japan. Even rivals were cooperating. Together, they built a new kind of fleet. Quiet, deadly, and invisible. And they were about to strike back. Commander Luis Ortega of the Chilean Navy stared at the hologram inside the Joint Command Center. It showed the Pacific Ocean, and deep within it, a massive red dot pulsed. That dot marked a growing alien base near the Nazca Ridge. This is their largest hive yet, he said to the gathered officers. We believe they're producing something. Big, maybe another mothership. Captain Sarah Holt nodded. We need to hit it before they finish. They get that ship into open water, we might not be able to stop it. Everyone agreed. The mission was clear. A coordinated submarine assault on the Nazca hive. 5 nations. 5 subs, each with a specific role: attack, distraction, support, recon, sabotage. The goal: destroy the hive's power core and survive. 3 days later, deep beneath the Pacific, the assault began. The USS Barracuda led the charge. Flanked by Russia's Volk, China's Hailong, the UK's Neptune, and Chile's Trident. They moved like shadows, spreading out along the trench. The ocean was darker than ever. Pressure here was deadly. And still, the alien machines swam through it like they were born here. Suddenly, the sonar pinged. Contact 3 clicks ahead, said Sarah's sonar officer. A new alien sentry was moving toward them, sleek. Fast, shaped like a stingray, with glowing red lines across its body. Hold position, Sarah whispered. The sentry passed above, scanning. Everyone held their breath. Any noise could get them killed. Then it passed. Sarah gave the signal. Go. The fleet moved in. From below, the Trident released sabotage drones. They crawled across the ocean floor, carrying EMP charges. Their job was to disable the hive's outer defenses. From above, the Neptune released decoys to distract patrolling sentries. Bright flashes and noisemakers drew the alien machines away. Then the attack began. Torpedoes streaked through the water, targeting the hive's structure. Boom, boom, boom. The ocean lit up like a thunderstorm. Inside the hive, chaos erupted. Alien. Drones swarmed out, glowing like angry jellyfish. Firing energy blasts and plasma arcs, the Hailong fired back, unleashing sonic cannons that shook the trench walls. The Volk used rail torpedoes, slicing through enemy drones. Sarah's Barracuda headed straight for the core. They reached a tunnel guarded by 2 massive alien creatures, each one half machine, half squid, with razor-sharp limbs. Load depth charges, Sarah ordered. Fire. The charges exploded with violent force, crushing one creature instantly. The other attacked, wrapping around the sub's hull. Metal groaned. Lights flickered. We're losing pressure in Section 5. An engineer shouted, "Emergency purge." Sarah yelled. Compressed air blasted through the pipes, forcing the creature off. The sub twisted, turned, and fired a torpedo straight into its mouth. The beast exploded. The path was open. They entered the hive's core chamber, a massive dome, glowing with strange blue energy. At the center floated the alien power source. A swirling ball of light surrounded by rings of machinery. It's alive, someone whispered. The energy pulsed like a heartbeat. We need to destroy it now, Sarah said. A support drone swam ahead, carrying a nuclear-tipped torpedo. It latched onto the core. Then something happened. The energy pulsed again stronger, and suddenly it spoke, not in words, but in pulses, vibrations, sounds inside the mind. Everyone felt it. A voice, not human, not alien, but old. We came before. You're kind. We made this world. Sarah stepped back. Her ears rang. What the hell was that? The sonar officer shook his head. It's talking. To all of us. More pulses came. You are not meant to rule. You are not ready. Leave the deep or be erased. Sarah's jaw tightened. They think they can decide who lives here? She stared at the core. Well, Earth isn't asking. She hit the detonator. The drone exploded. The core shattered. A blinding light filled the water. Waves of energy burst. From the hive, metal collapsed. Drones fell like dead fish. The entire hive began imploding. Get us out of here, Sarah shouted. The Barracuda turned and fled the collapsing structure. Rocks tumbled. Explosions echoed through the sea. One by one, the Allied subs escaped. Battered but alive, the Nazca hive was gone. Back at the Joint Command Base, leaders from around the world watched the footage in silence. What was that voice? one general asked. We don't know, Sarah said. But it was old, ancient. Maybe these aliens aren't just visitors. Maybe they've been here before, long ago. The admiral leaned forward. Are they still coming? Sarah nodded. Yes, that wasn't their last base. Just their biggest one for now. The admiral looked around the room. Then we prepare, we fight. We protect the oceans, and we send one clear message. He paused, then said it clearly. Earth belongs to humans. The Battle of the Nazca Hive was a turning point. Humanity had proven that it could fight back, not just survive, but strike deep and win. But the victory came with new questions. The alien voice in the core, the strange message, it haunted. Every Navy officer who heard it, the aliens were not just invaders. They believed they owned the oceans, and maybe they believed they owned Earth. Captain Sarah Holt sat in the briefing room of the USS Barracuda. The submarine had been fully repaired after the Nazca attack and was now upgraded with stealth armor, new torpedo tech, and sonar jamming systems. But Sarah wasn't thinking about weapons. She was thinking about the voice. She had heard it again. Last night, in her dreams, or maybe her thoughts, it had returned. A whisper in the deep. We came before you. She looked around the room. Scientists, Navy officers, and AI analysts were gathered. A map of the Indian Ocean glowed on the table. We found another structure, said Dr. Lena Kim, a Marine, biologist, near the Sunda Trench. Deeper than Nazca, older and active. Sarah frowned. Another hive. Not exactly. It's a temple. The room went quiet. Temple, asked Commander Ortega, who had survived Nazca with Sarah. What kind of aliens build temples? Dr. Kim showed images from deep-sea drones, giant stone-like structures covered in glowing lines, strange symbols. A central tower that pulsed with faint energy. This might be their origin site, she said. It's been hidden for centuries. Maybe millennia. They didn't just land here. It might have always been here. 4 days later, the U.S. Barracuda was gliding silently over the dark trench. Sonar showed the alien temple below, massive, larger than any ship. The structure had sharp edges, but also strange curves like a mix of nature and machine. Its surface shimmered with green light. Sarah and Ortega stood at the observation deck. It's beautiful, Ortega whispered. And deadly, Sarah replied. She turned to the crew. Deploy the drones. Block Explorer drones swam out from the sub and drifted toward the temple. Cameras streamed eerie footage corridors that opened without touch. Glowing symbols that moved like liquid. One drone entered the central tower. Inside, it found a chamber filled with strange statues. And in the center, a sphere floating, spinning. Humming then, the signal cut out. The sphere pulsed. Sarah leaned forward. What happened? No signal, said the tech officer. It's gone. Bring the other drones back. Too late. The temple lit up. The ocean floor began to shake. Lights raced across the trench walls. The Barracuda's controls blinked. Something was interfering. Retreat, Sarah shouted. But then, a new voice echoed through the ship's systems. Not in English. Not in any human language. But every crew member understood it in their mind. You awaken what sleeps. You disturb. The deep, leave or be erased. The ocean boiled. From behind the temple, dozens of alien creatures emerged long. Eel-shaped machines with glowing red spines and jaws full of rotating blades. They're coming, Ortega yelled. Sarah didn't wait. Torpedo tubes 1-2. 6 fire explosions rocked the trench. 2 eels were torn apart, but more came. The Barracuda dove deeper, racing along the trench wall, trying to escape. The ship twisted through narrow rock canyons, dodging attacks. But one alien eel latched onto the hull, digging in. Internal pressure rising, shouted engineering. Cut power to rear systems, Sarah commanded. The sub went dark in the back, and the creature detached for just a second. That was enough. Fire. Stern torpedo. Boom. The creature exploded in pieces, but the ship was badly damaged. It couldn't escape the trench. They were too deep. It's too slow. We need help, Sarah said. But no help was coming. until something appeared, a new submarine. But not human. It shimmered, sleek. Silent, the alien creature stopped. They backed away, hissing. The new vessel moved beside the Barracuda. And then it sent a signal, not in words but emotion, curiosity, warning, sadness. Sarah stared at it through the viewport. It's not one of them. Ortega nodded slowly. It's something else, maybe a different species. Or a rebel. The alien sub moved forward, toward the temple, and then it attacked. A beam of energy fired from its nose, slicing through the stone of the temple's central tower. The tower cracked. The structure pulsed. The ocean roared. Shockwaves tore through the trench. The alien creature screamed and fled into the dark. The new vessel turned and disappeared into a rift in the ocean. The floor vanishing like smoke. The Barracuda was pulled upward by rising currents. The temple collapsed behind them, falling into the dark forever. They escaped barely 2 days later. Back at base, Sarah gave her report. There's more than one alien force down there, she said. One of them wants to control the oceans. The other, maybe it's trying to stop them. The admiral was silent. Are you suggesting there's a civil war? He asked. Sarah nodded. Yes, and we're caught in the middle. The room was quiet. Then Ortega added, the real war isn't just between us and aliens. It's between the things that have been fighting beneath the ocean since before humans ever walked the earth. The admiral stood. Then we need to prepare. Not just for defense, but for discovery. We need to know who these forces are before they decide to wipe us out. Sarah looked at the ocean map on the wall. So much of it was still unexplored, and now they knew it wasn't empty. It was watching. The ocean was no longer just water and darkness. It had secrets. It had war, and it had watchers. After the temple collapsed, the world changed. Humanity knew. Now they were not alone beneath the waves. 2 alien forces had lived under their feet. For who knows how long. One wanted to conquer. The other maybe to stop it. Now Earth had a decision to make. Hide or fight. Captain Sarah Holt chose to fight. Her submarine, the USS Barracuda, had been repaired again. Not just with human technology, but with something else. A small black box retrieved from the alien temple wreckage had been decoded. It was alien tech. It could enhance sonar, boost torpedo lock-on speed, and scramble enemy signals. Ready? Commander Ortega asked as they entered the command room. Always, Sarah said. The new mission was simple, but dangerous. Second alien hive had been found in the Arctic Ocean, but this one wasn't sleeping. It was active and growing. Probes showed giant alien carriers being built under the ice. If those carriers reached the surface, they could launch an attack on every human, coastal city. The Barracuda was sent to stop it, but they weren't alone. 2 more submarines were joining. The mission, the USS Harpoon and USS Hammerhead. Both were armed with next-gen tech and crews ready for deep-sea combat. As the fleet moved silently beneath the icy waters, tension grew. Everyone remembered what happened at Nazca. Everyone knew what was at stake now. This time, it was not exploration. It was war. Deep under the Arctic, the hive was alive. Alien machines moved through tunnels of ice and steel. Massive drones assembled ship-like creatures, each over 300 meters long.
Ow.
They weren't just ships. They were part living, part metal monsters built to rise and destroy. And in the center of the hive, something new stirred. It was different from the others. Bigger, smarter. It watched the humans approach. It felt them, and it prepared. The Barracuda led the approach. Sonar was silent. Ice blocked satellite signals. This was pure submarine warfare, cold, dark, and quiet. Ortega leaned close to Sarah. You feel that? Sarah nodded, like the ocean is breathing. They reached the edge. Of the hive, it was massive, like a metal iceberg beneath the sea. Giant glowing vents released clouds of green mist. Hundreds of small alien drones circled the area, scanning, waiting. Then something moved. An alien carrier rose from the depths slowly, like a giant sea serpent waking up. Its skin shimmered with energy, and weapons lined its side. Sarah didn't. Wait, launch EMP torpedoes, hit the engines. The harpoon and hammerhead fired too. 3 torpedoes shot through the water and slammed. Into the carrier's body, boom, boom, boom. Energy sparked. The alien carrier shuddered and stopped moving, but it wasn't dead. Suddenly, a signal pulsed from the hive. The alien drones rushed forward like a swarm of sharks. "They're coming fast," yelled Ortega. "Deploy decoys. Switch to silent mode." Submarines scattered, weaving through ice tunnels. The drones chased hard. One latched onto the hammerhead, drilling into its hull. "Hammerhead is hit," shouted the comms officer. "Send backup," Sarah ordered. "We won't leave anyone behind." The Barracuda turned back. Its rear torpedo launcher fired a shock charge, a new weapon developed from alien tech. It sent out a pulse wave that fried electronics in a 100-meter radius. The drones dropped dead. The hammerhead survived. But more enemies were coming. Then the hive opened. A massive creature rose. It wasn't a ship. It wasn't even a machine. It was alive. Half mechanical, half flesh. Like a whale mixed with a battleship. Eyes glowing. Mouth wide with rotating blades, it roared into the water. The sound alone shook the submarines. Ortega stared. "What the hell is that?" Sarah whispered, "their queen." The alien queen swam straight at the Barracuda. "Hard right. Dive. Launch all weapons," Sarah shouted. Torpedoes flew. The queen took the hits but kept coming. She slammed into the ice wall, breaking it apart. Rocks fell. Currents shifted. The Barracuda twisted between debris, dodging attacks, trying to stay alive. Then something else arrived. The unknown alien submarine, the one that had helped them at the temple, appeared again. It didn't speak. It attacked. A blue beam shot from its side and hit the queen. The creature screamed and turned. The unknown sub circled her, firing precise energy shots. The queen fought back with tendrils and sonar blasts. The ocean lit up with war. Sarah knew they had one chance. Fire the deep charge. Right at the hive core. The Barracuda released a deep charge torpedo designed to detonate under massive pressure. The harpoon and hammerhead did the same. 3 torpedoes entered the hive. The queen saw them too late. Boom. The hive exploded in. A flash of green fire. The queen screamed. The unknown alien sub vanished, again leaving. Only a trail of blue light. The Arctic Ocean shook. The alien hive was gone. The queen sank into. The darkness and silence returned. Back at base, Earth celebrated. It wasn't just a victory, it was proof. Proof the humans could fight in the deepest places. Proof that their submarines could match alien power. And proof that somewhere, out there, something else was watching and helping. Sarah stood alone on the deck that night, staring at the sea. "It's not over," she said. Ortega stood beside her. "No, it's just beginning." Far below them, in the ocean's darkness, something opened its eyes. After the Arctic battle, Earth felt a short moment of peace, but that peace didn't last. The oceans were not quiet anymore. Strange signals started coming from the deep trenches long. Dark places even submarines feared to go. Sonar picked up. Strange movements. Deep-sea mining drones disappeared without a trace, and the ocean currents were shifting unnaturally, as if something massive moved beneath the Earth's crust. It was clear. Something else was waking up. Captain Sarah Holt stood in the war room, maps glowing across the table. A red dot blinked, near the Mariana Trench. "Another alien structure," said Commander Ortega. "But this one's different." "How?" Sarah asked. "It's alive." The screen showed video from a deep drone, a giant shape moving slowly along the ocean floor. It was not a building. It was a creature the size of a city, covered in armor, breathing, watching. The military called it Leviathan-class. It was worse than the Queen, and it was heading toward Japan's eastern coast. 3 submarines were sent. To intercept at Barracuda Hammerhead, and a new prototype called USS Abyss. The Abyss was Earth's most advanced sub, with alien-derived weapons, silent drives, and reinforced hulls made from layered nanometal. Sarah was in command of the fleet again. Are we ready? She asked her crew. We've faced worse, Ortega replied, though his voice didn't sound sure. The submarines dove deeper than ever before. The water was black, the pressure immense. Creatures never seen before swam past, glowing. Massive, ancient. Then the lights went dark. EMP wave, engineer shouted. All systems flickering. It entered the Leviathan's domain. The sonar lit up. The shape was in front of them. It was crawling through the trench, dragging. Something behind it, a smaller creature, a carrier. A hive ship. They weren't just attacking Earth, they were moving the war forward. The Leviathan suddenly turned. It knew they were there. Its mouth opened, rows of spinning teeth, glowing blue with power. Sarah yelled, "Evasive maneuvers. Launch." Everything. Torpedoes flew. The Abyss fired its new plasma cannon. Blue beams cut through the water. They hit the Leviathan hard, but the creature didn't stop. It released drones, dozens of them like wasps from a nest. They spun through the water, some of them exploding on impact. Others latching onto the hammerhead and tearing at its hull. "We're taking damage," the hammerhead called. "Cover them," Sarah ordered. The Barracuda looped around, firing shock charges and decoys. The Abyss launched depth missiles, special weapons that exploded by sound instead of touch. One of the drones exploded too close. The hammerhead was hit. A hole opened on its side. "Evacuating," came the cry. Sarah had to decide, keep fighting, or save her people. "Move in, shield the hammerhead," she shouted. The Barracuda moved in front of the enemy like a wall. The Leviathan released a sonar blast. Everything shook. Instruments broke. Blood came from noses. Still, they fought. The Abyss fired a deep-core missile straight at the Leviathans. I hit the monster, howled underwater. A sound that echoed through miles of water. It turned and disappeared into the trench. They had wounded it, but not killed it. The hammerhead was badly damaged. But most of the crew were saved. The fleet returned to a base hidden beneath Guam Ocean, Base Theta. It was a secret station built after the first alien attack. Their Earth scientists studied the wreckage from battles and developed new weapons. Sarah met with Dr. Lin, a top scientist. "We studied the Leviathan," Lin said. "It's not just alien. It's a mix of DNA from Earth's deep-sea creatures. And their tech. They've been here longer than we thought." "How long?" Sarah asked. "Maybe millions of years? Before humans." Sarah shook her head. "Then why now?" "'Cause we disturbed the temple. We woke them up." Sarah looked out the window at the ocean above. "They started it," she said. "Now we finish it." The world prepared. Coastal. Cities built underwater defenses. Satellites scanned the oceans day and night. A global submarine fleet was formed. Oceanic Command. Sarah was placed in charge, but the enemy was adapting too. Reports came in from every ocean, creatures rising, hive ships growing, deep-sea vents turning into alien factories. It was a race. Earth had submarines, but the aliens had evolution. Dr. Lin revealed one more thing. "We found something strange in the wreckage. A map. It shows 7 alien nodes under Earth's oceans." "We've destroyed 2, and the others?" Sarah asked. "They're waking." Back on the Barracuda, Sarah sat alone in her quarters. She held a photo of her family. She remembered her sister lost during the first attack near Hawaii. That pain never left, but it made her strong. The door beeped. Ortega entered. "We've got coordinates," he said. "Another node in the Indian Ocean." Sarah stood. "Then that's where we go next." Far beneath them, the Leviathan opened its other eye. The war was not over. It was only deepening. The Indian Ocean was silent. Too silent. No fish, no whales, no natural sounds. Just darkness and pressure. And deep in that silence, something waited. The final alien node, Earth, had already destroyed 6. Each one had been a battle of fire, water, and blood. This time humanity barely survived. But this time was different. This time they knew the enemy. This time they were ready. Captain Sarah Holt stood in the command room of the USS Abyss. It's now upgraded with alien core reactors and plasma torpedoes. It was the most advanced submarine on the planet. Next to her stood Commander Ortega, now wearing a special Neuralink headset that connected him directly to the ship's AI. The mission was simple: destroy the last node. But simple missions in deep water never stayed simple for long. They dove into the Indian Ocean with a full fleet, 20 submarines from across the world. Chinese, Russian, Indian, American, Brazilian, all working together. One force. This was no longer just a war for Earth. It was a war for survival. Below them, seventh node pulsed with red light. Giant tendrils spread like roots through the ocean floor. Strange alien creatures swam around it like guard dogs. And in the middle stood the Leviathan. It had healed. It had grown. It was waiting. Engage sonar dampeners, Sarah ordered. Fleet is holding formation, Ortega said. Weapons locked. Orders. Sarah looked at the screen. Fire. A wave of torpedoes rushed forward like underwater missiles. Plasma rounds followed. The alien node lit up with electric pulses. Shields rose. Creatures launched forward. The ocean exploded into war. Submarines danced between shockwaves. Depth charges dropped like underwater bombs. Alien drones swarmed from the node, spitting acid and plasma. One Brazilian sub was hit. Gone in seconds. Keep moving, Sarah shouted. Protect the Abyss. The USS Abyss powered up its primary weapon, the Dark Lance, an energy beam made from alien tech. It fired directly at the node's core. A hole appeared. Then the Leviathan roared. It rushed forward, like a living mountain. Its tentacles grabbed one sub and crushed it in half. But the fleet didn't stop. They circled the beast, hit it with sonic disruptors, smart torpedoes, magnetic bombs, and still it fought back. Harder, faster, meaner. We can't kill it. Someone cried over the radio, but Sarah had a plan. Ortega, she said, take command. I'm going outside. Ortega turned to her. What? I'm taking the Kraken suit. The Kraken was an experimental exosuit built for deep-sea combat. It was part submarine, part armor, part alien tech. Only one person could pilot it. Sarah, suited up, the suit locked around her like metal skin. Oxygen filled her lungs. Screens lit up inside her helmet. A sword-shaped plasma blade rested on her arm. The hatch opened. She dropped into the black. The Leviathan swam toward her like a god. Sarah activated the suit's boosters. She zipped around its massive eye and slashed with the blade. Sparks flew. Screams shook the trench. The Abyss fired behind her, targeting the wound. The Leviathan bled, glowing fluid. It twisted. Tentacles flew at Sarah. She dodged. Slashed, fired sonic charges. The suit shook. Warnings blinked red. Her oxygen was dropping, but she didn't stop. She dove toward the node's core. Commander Ortega, she said, launch the Omega torpedo. That'll blow everything in this trench. I know. Ortega was silent for a second, then firing now. The torpedo launched. Sarah reached the core. Tentacles grabbed. She raised the blade and stabbed it deep into the alien heart. Then the trench exploded. Light filled the ocean. The Leviathan screamed. The node shattered. The sea boiled. All over the world, alien signals stopped. Drones fell. Creatures sank. The invasion ended. The fleet surfaced. But there was no sign of Sarah. The Abyss searched. For hours. And then a signal. A small pod floated up from the dark. Inside, conscious, bruised, but alive was Captain Sarah Holt. She had survived barely 3 weeks later. Sarah stood at the United Earth Assembly. People from every nation cheered her name. She didn't smile. She just said, this war started. In the oceans, it ended there too. But the lesson is clear. We don't give up. We don't kneel. We fight. We endure. We win. She stepped down, and the world cheered again, deep beneath the Pacific. Sensors picked up something, a new signal, faint, old, another Leviathan, or something worse. But Earth was ready now. The oceans were ours again, and humanity had proven one thing: we fight harder from the deep.